you're an English major? What exactly do you plan on doing with that? Now, every time somebody asks me this question, or almost every time, it's accompanied by this puzzled and almost sympathetic expression. Before I ever thought of what kind of income my passion for the English language would offer me, I knew that it was the thing that I wanted to pursue. After all, it's what I love. Unfortunately, it seems that not everybody has these same sentiments. Today, it seems a pretty common occurrence that people decide they base their career and educational decisions on how much money it's going to make them in the long run. Now, I've always felt lucky that I knew what I wanted to study from a young age. I've always had a very supportive family and friends, and I felt this sense of relief when I looked around at my high school peers who had absolutely no idea what they wanted to do with their lives. So you can imagine my surprise when I was suddenly expected to validate my decision every time that I met someone new. It's not as though I lived this life sheltered from the harsh reality that some jobs will always make more money than others, some jobs will vary, and some, depending on how successful you are, will invariably make you barely anything. My dad joined the military 25 years ago, and my mom has been working a passionless job for 15 years, all to support myself and my 7 siblings. And still, they've always raised me to go with my gut and follow my dream. About this time last year, I was ready and excited to come over to America to live and study, go to college. Not only would I get the chance to redefine and reshape my knowledge about the subjects I already knew and loved, but I would get the chance to learn new things and express myself in new ways. And suddenly, this sense of doubt started creeping in my head. You see, people around me, peers and a few professors, were constantly talking about what major decisions, what job decisions would make one more money. That I myself found that I was beginning to doubt my own choices and seek alternatives to the one that I had chosen. Until I stopped one day and I thought, wait, how exactly does my income relate to my happiness? Upon researching this exact question, I found that only 32% of adults in the United States love their jobs. Of course, some jobs need to be done and some people need to do jobs in order to gain financial stability. But as college students, do we really want to waste up to four plus years of time and money studying something that at the end of the day we're not passionate about? In fact, interestingly enough, this same study found a specific correlation between college education and the passion one feels for one career post-graduation. It's true, some parents are the ones who place pressures on their children to go after majors that they find have more academic integrity or will make them more money, because they think that this is what's best for their children, what's going to make them happier in the long run. But what they don't realize is that money only makes a person happy up to a certain extent. A recent research conducted by Time magazine found that people are only pleased with money up to the point of reaching financial stability. It's a fact. Levels of income have increased within the past 30 to 40 years, but levels of happiness have stayed the same. What's more, Forbes.com reported, and I quote, "If a person is handed $10, the pleasure centers of his brain light up as if he were given food, sex, or drugs. But that initial rush does not translate into long-term pleasure for most people. Surveys have found virtually the same level of happiness between the very rich individuals on the Forbes 400 and herdsmen of East Africa." To further demonstrate my point, allow me to share a short story. It was my first semester of college, and I was excited to meet the people I would be living with for the next 8 or so months. I was one of the lucky ones. I was assigned supplemental, 3 roommates, and 2 sets of bunk beds. Nevertheless, I decided to make the best of it. We went through the usual courtesies of introducing ourselves, talking about our family, our home, and we eventually got onto the subject of talking about our majors. One of my roommates was undecided, one grew up on a farm and was passionately pursuing a veterinarian degree, and the last of the 3 was a pre-med major. A few weeks passed and we all started experiencing what it meant to really work to succeed at what we wanted to do. The stress that my pre-med roommate felt, however, was not so easily quelled by the fact that she was necessarily passionate about what she was studying. Upon asking her why exactly it was she chose to do this if she wasn't happy with it, she looked at me very seriously and said, "I'm a high-maintenance person. I'm going to need a job that makes me a lot of money." A few months later, she hasn't changed her major, but she still struggles with almost all of her classes. I kid you not, every minute spent not in class is time spent in the library, studying. Now, in no way am I suggesting that my former roommate was shallow or unintelligent. In fact, earning a degree in the medical field is very challenging and rewarding. But spending up to 12 years and upwards of $175,000 doing something you don't want to be doing, that's just a concept I can't bring myself to understand. Like all of you, this is my first year in college. And with that comes taking advantage of new opportunities. Now, I'm not telling you to drop out and go join a rock band or anything that drastic. And I'm sure that I'm going to have to one day work a job that I don't want to because I need to pay off my debts and dues. But if I'm going to be in debt, you better believe it's going to be for the perfect reason. Thank you.